Welcome to Elevate Springfield, where we will dive into strategies and stories that help you rise to your full potential. Each episode, we'll talk about how you can take intentional steps to elevate your life and your business while making a meaningful impact on those around you. Along the way, we're going to bring in the change makers from our community that are already elevating. We'll bring the actionable strategies, you bring the discipline and follow through, and together we can elevate Springfield.
All right, let's go, Springfield. Time to 10x your day, 10x your life, and all of us 10x Springfield. Hey, you are listening to the Elevate Springfield podcast. Robert Ferriell here, certified 10x coach, speaker, and mentor, here to bring you actionable strategies. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together we're going to elevate Springfield. Well, we are coming to you from the Big Dog Construction Studio in beautiful downtown Springfield. You are listening to Separation Saturdays on Elevate Springfield, where you can separate yourself from the competition every Saturday morning. Now, we are every day with Elevate Springfield now, so you can start your morning every morning with a new drop from Elevate Springfield, and we are looking forward to having you, and we are thankful that you chose to listen to us. We're going to get started after the break. Hey, Springfield, when it comes to reliable, high-quality roofing, you don't want to leave things to chance. That's why you should reach out to Acosta Angeli Roofing, your local roofing experts serving Springfield and surrounding communities. From quick, dependable repairs to full replacement, from residential to commercial, they are your trusted pros. Call them today at 217-993-2748 or visit their website to book your free quote and inspection. Don't wait. A little leak now could lead to major damage later. Trust the local experts, protect your home, and get peace of mind with Acosta Angeli Roofing. And we are back. Hey, another great week on Elevate Springfield, but you know what? It's always a great week on Elevate Springfield. We started off like we always do with your weekly battle plan on Sunday. Then on Monday, we had Juan Salas in from Salas Fencing. Great story of how he started his business while he was still employed by Troxel. So if you haven't checked that one out, go back and see that. On Tuesday, of course, Ellie came back in for our next gen segment. We talked a lot about the 4 degrees of action. Hey, we're going to touch on that again, so stay tuned after this quick recap. Then on Wednesday, Communities Grow Together. Hey, friend of the show, Jeff Dillman, back in the house. Hadn't had him in a few weeks. Got an update on what is going on in all the groups that he is a part of. Then on Thursday, we had Deb Sarseny from the Deb Sarseny Real Estate Team at the Real Estate Group. Great conversation of her 37 years in real estate, how she got into real estate, and how she has grown her business and her team over the years. Really great conversation surrounding mentorship, consistency, client connections. Check that one out if you haven't already. Then on Friday, we had Dr. Kelly Newman back at our Wellness Upgrade segment, and we talked a lot about joint health. We also touched on her book that she just put out. If you didn't catch that whole episode, that was from the week before on the 22nd. But this Friday's episode was all about joint health, and you know she is an expert in that. So today, as I mentioned on Ellie's segment on Next Gen, we talked about the 4 degrees of action. So we didn't get super deep into it that day, so what I'd like to do today is get just a little bit deeper into those 4 degrees of action. This is a part of a training that we do through GC, through our coaching program that we have through there, through the 10X Professional, and this is all about massive action when we're talking about the 4 degrees of action. You see, most people incorrectly estimate the amount of effort it takes to get the results they want. Have you ever done that? I would imagine you have, because we all have. Think about being balanced or what is reasonable. Quite frankly, GC says that is a losing mentality. Instead, you need to think in terms of massive action. Whatever you think is needed to get the job done, increase the amount far greater than you think is necessary, and you'll get results beyond your wildest expectations. So what we're going to do today, we're going to dive into what it means to take massive action. If you want to make your dreams come true, if you want to reach your targets, if you want to become great at whatever you're doing right now, it's going to take work. When it comes to getting those big results and becoming wildly successful, you have to take action in that direction in massive quantities. There's simply no way around it. We talked a little bit about this with Deb Sarseny this week. We talked about how action is what really makes a difference. We can all talk a good game, but action is where the difference is made. So the 4 kinds of action, the 4 degrees of action. You can never take enough action in life. Really, you can only take too little. Too much action will never get you into trouble. Most of the time, taking action is the way to get yourself out of trouble. The only time action is going to cause you some trouble is when there isn't any or when there's not enough of it. So really think about that. Have you used action in the past to get out of a difficult situation? I would imagine yes, we all have. If you've ever been in trouble, ask yourself, hey, what do I need to do right now? If you're trying to solve a problem, ask yourself, what do I need to do? That's action. That is all action. So when GC talks about the 4 degrees of action, he talks about what originally people thought there were really just 3 kinds of action. 1, the right action. 2, the wrong action. Or 3, no action. Now, as 10Xers, we believe in a 4th action, and that's massive action. That's the one you want to live by. The 4th action is the action that will prove that you get results. If you want to be successful, no matter what your skill set is, it's that action that will allow you to produce at a higher rate than others. If you ask super successful people, all these great people, one thing that has made the most difference in their life is taking massive action. Even maybe when they didn't really have a clear plan or path on what they were doing. So that's what we're going to dig a little deeper into. Those 3 things that GC mentioned people used to talk about, right action, wrong action, or no action, are replaced now in 10Xers' minds with no action, retreat, average amount of action, and massive action. So with massive action, let's say you're throwing an event and you want 250 people to show up. How many people you think you really need to invite? Of course, it's got to be more than 250, right? And you can't trust RSVPs anymore. People will say they're coming and they don't show up. It happens all the time. So how do you prevent an empty house and an event that doesn't quite hit? Well, first thing, you invite way more people than 250. Maybe it takes 750 to actually get 250 in the room. Maybe it takes 1,500 to actually get 250 people in the room. And then you have to call them and remind them, or text them and remind them, or email them and remind them to make sure they show up. It's always better to have more people than too few. So this can easily carry over to sales or your business life. You need to apply massive action because, again, most people underestimate the amount of action you need to take to accomplish something. So how do you know if you're taking enough action? One big way to know is your problems have changed. For instance, say you want to fill your calendar. That's your problem right now. You don't have enough leads. You don't have enough people that you're talking to, not enough appointments. You need to take massive action until your concern is no longer whether or not you'll get enough appointments, but how you can possibly handle all the appointments that you have. That's a new problem. Your concern is no longer whether or not you'll get appointments, or your problem has shifted into a new problem. You have to take so much action that it results in that new problem. So what are some of the problems that you're experiencing right now, and how can massive action create new problems instead of those same old problems. Take that appointment, that calendar as an example. What are some of the problems in your business right now? And how can massive action essentially clear that problem, but create a new problem that is a good problem to have? So while you're thinking about that, you can think about how you can apply the 10x rule to that, because that will get you toward the amount of action that you actually need to take to be considered massive. So, hey, let's suppose you want something, an account, certain income level, lose 10 pounds, whatever. How much action do you need to take? How much action do you reasonably need to take in order to do that? What's considered massive action in that scenario? So use this as a rule of thumb. Figure out how much effort you think you'd need to take, or that the average person would take to achieve that goal. Then take massive action equal to at least 10 times what you think it will take. It's the 10x rule. That is the essence of the 10x rule. When I talk about 10x, that is what we are talking about. If you take 10 times more action than you thought was necessary, would you be certain, guaranteed to get that one thing to achieve your goal? For instance, if you wanted to lose 10 pounds, if you took 10 times the amount of action that you think is necessary to lose that 10 pounds, you think you're going to lose that 10 pounds? Yeah, you most likely will, and you're probably going to lose a lot more. You're going to be way over that original goal. This is how you want to start operating. If you do 10x of what you think it's going to take, you can stop hoping. You won't have to hope. You won't have to wish, cross your fingers, whatever, right? Remember when we were all little and we'd cross our fingers hoping something would happen? You don't have to depend on others to reach your targets. What you want and far more will come to you when the right amount of action, that 10x action, is created. So let's think about a salesperson who goes on and on about the bad luck they might be having, right? Maybe you know somebody like this. Maybe you work with somebody like this. Hey, maybe you are like this. Appointment got canceled. Buyer backed out of a deal. Another customer had to change an order. Another buyer couldn't get financing on whatever deal you're trying to do, on and on and on, right? You know what the problem is here? It's not bad luck. It's not misfortune. It's not the economy. It's that salesperson didn't have enough in their pipeline. If he took 10 times more action than he had been doing originally, he would have no time to even think about those so-called misfortunes or bad luck events. Might have even actually welcomed someone canceling, as it would have been a little bit of relief to get a break rather than it being viewed as misfortune or bad luck. You see, if you take enough action and are getting results, it's not a big deal when an appointment cancels or a buyer backs out. Your massive action, your 10x action, is a safety net to all of that. You're not going to freak out when one appointment cancels or one buyer backs out, or when you can't close this or that deal, because you've got a full pipeline. If you're only taking small amounts of action, what's going to happen? You're going to get small results. Then every time you lose one deal or lose one appointment, you're going to start stressing out about it. And you're going to go back to thinking bad luck, all this stuff, right? Because you are dependent on that one thing. We don't want to ever be dependent upon one deal. You don't want to be in a position where you don't have anything to replace that particular client, simply because you didn't take enough action. Your attention needs to be on massive amounts of action, knowing that if you take enough action, you're going to get results. You can have faith that you will get results if you take 10x action. See, GC, Grant Cardone, is known for this. You could call it his calling card. He will call and call and call and text and email until he gets the result he's looking for. He will be, in essence, unreasonable with his action. And we've talked about that before. Massive action requires you to be completely and utterly unreasonable compared to what others are doing. So, bottom line lesson here, never be reasonable when it comes to taking action. If you want to get something done, Keep taking action, extraordinary, unreasonable levels of action, that massive action, that 10x action. Think about what a reasonable person with average results would get, and then let's times that by 10. GC always says, be without sanity or logic or reason when it comes to taking massive amounts of action, and you'll reach heights that others never dreamed possible. Massive action equals new problems, and this will equal massive results for you. So a couple of things, couple of exercises for you at the end here for you to do over the weekend. Restate the 10X rule in your own words, and then think about the last goal you set and missed for yourself. And think, would you have hit it, or at least gotten a lot closer, if you had taken 10X action towards it? And then finally, what's a goal you have right now, personal or professional? Describe what ordinary or average effort is required to achieve that goal. And then now, what would 10X effort look like? So again, 4 degrees of action: no action, retreat. Average levels of action. We talked a lot about that with Ellie. Remember, that's the most dangerous because it breeds complacency. We want to live in massive action like we talked about today. But again, no action, retreat. Average action, but all of us here in Springfield and all of us 10Xers are living in that massive action space. Hope that helps. We'll be back after the break.
Looking for expert tree care with hometown integrity? Look no further than Sangamon Tree Service. They're your trusted local pros, delivering quality workmanship, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing every time. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, their team brings professionalism and care to every job, big or small. Call the name your neighbors trust, Sangamon Tree Service, or visit them today at sangamontreeservice.com. Sangamon Tree Service, rooted in quality, built on trust.
Well, thank you for joining us today, everybody. Appreciate you making us a part of your day. Hey, don't forget, while you're out on social, check ours out. You can check my personal one out at Robert Ferriell at everywhere. Check out those Elevate Springfield pages, those Big Dog Business Coaching pages as well. Check us out over on YouTube. Give us a subscribe, give us a like or a follow on any of those channels. We would certainly appreciate it. So hey, take what you learned today. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together, that's right, y'all, we're going to elevate Springfield. Be great.
Looking for personalized insurance with hometown care? David Hilst, American Family Insurance Agents, here to help you protect what matters most: your family, your home, and your dreams. Whether it's auto, home, life, business, David and his team are proud to serve the Springfield community with trusted advice and reliable coverage. Local service, real relationships, peace of mind. Call today or stop by their office. They can build your dream protection plan together. Call 217-726-6343